So I'm finally back and I'm here to talk about this. This guitar here is the very first guitar I have ever built, and it was built just a couple of months ago. I've just not got around to making a video because I've got other things going on now, and yeah, I've only really just had time to do this. So I'm going to talk over all the things that I've done to this guitar, my thoughts on it, and we'll end it with a little demo. First thing to mention about this guitar is this was bought on Gear for Music. It is their own branded DIY guitar kit. I think it cost me about £80. Don't quote me on that, but it was a very cheap guitar kit. And hardware wise, the only thing that I've kept on this that's from the original packaging is the wood. Everything else has been swapped for a more premium product. So, starting from the top, we have Fender branded locking tuners. We also have Fender branded string trees. I cannot remember the brand, but we have a bone nut, filed and shaped to size. A 3-ply pick guard. We also have, from the Fender Custom Shop, the Texan Classic pickups. We have the Babix full contact bridge. This is a custom made hardware housing unit. To top it all off, I've got locking strap. As you can see, absolutely everything from this guitar has been swapped over for a better product. And I just so have it, I kept all the spare parts here. So I've got the spare bridge, the spare pickups, the tuners that came with it, and the hardware housing unit. The reason why I've done this is because this is my first build. I wanted it to be special for me, so I decided to go all out there and purchase the best quality stuff that I could get for my first build. Was that a mistake? Yeah, it cost me a good couple of £100 more that I didn't need to spend, and it was my first build and I had no idea what I was doing. But you know what? As you can see, I've painted this a burst, a deep red wine burst, I guess you could call this. And it's got the burst on the headstock and the body. Well, I guess I should say as well, we've also got an engraving that I've engraved myself on the headstock. It's meant to be of a Telecaster body with a treble clef head. To the back, we have a different type of burst. This is more of a oak wood burst. That was not intentional. They were both meant to have the same colour. I sort of ran out of the red. So I ended up just leaving it with the oak wood burst. And on top of that, I also engraved the endless loop, or the infinity loop. For finishing on the neck and body, I have just used gun oil. Many days worth of layering that on and sanding it off. I'm a bit demented by it. The body has a lot more coatings in the neck just to allow playability on the neck. To be honest, the coat, I only gave the neck 2 coats and the neck feels great. To go up and down the neck really does feel like a high quality neck in my opinion. So the headstock actually came as a paddleboard. So that just means that it's just a block of wood and you're left to fit it however you want. So I've went with a typical Telecaster look. It's a bit more slender than a Telecaster, and I've added in a little notch down here. I also sanded in up here a little bit because it was just a little bit too chunky out here for my liking, so I sanded that in a bit. So the good things about this guitar, positives I'd say, it's a great build for anyone that's wanting to try and learn how to do a DIY guitar. A great build. My recommendation is don't do what I do. I spent probably about £400 or £500 worth on upgrades, and that's not including the amount of power tools and consumables like sandpaper and the oils, the paints, all that sort of stuff, and building this. So I've put a lot of money into this, and the good thing is, I guess, is once you buy those sort of tools, any future project you want, you've got all the tools sitting there. But I wouldn't recommend going out there and buying the best of the best for your first build, because there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be things that you learn and pick up on the way. To be honest, I knew that going into this project. I just wanted to make this a little bit more personal for me, and I thought, personal wise, yeah, buy the best stuff. I guess. So it's totally built to what I want, rather than using the hardware kit that comes with, which is not a good, it's not good quality. I did test out the pickups that came with the kit, and they sounded thin and tinny, which is to be expected if you're buying a whole kit for, you know, £85. I did not try the tuners that came with the kit, simply because I had a feel of them, and you can just tell that, nah, they're not good. So yeah, plenty of good things about building a guitar. It teaches you patience. The many days of layering paint, and then layering, weeks of layering your finish of choice. Yeah, it's a fun little long-lasting project, which was good to fill out the COVID-19 scenario. It teaches you how a guitar is built, the many things and issues that can come with a guitar, and I think that does you in good stead when going to purchase a guitar, because then you know the little nooks and crannies to look out for, any little quirks that guitar may have that has been implemented throughout the building process. So it makes you have a keener eye, and honestly it was just fun. It was a fun little kit to build, designing it myself, picking what I was wanting to put on it. It was fun. So the bad points. There's one thing about this guitar that makes me hate it. One thing that makes me hate it. It is fixable, but it's a couple of £100 fix. That is the neck, the whole neck. Granted, I said earlier that the back of the neck feels good. That is because I spent hours sanding that down to a very fine sand, and then I spent hours carefully applying the gun stock finish. The back feels great, but the front, I did put on one layer of gun oil just to give it a little bit of a glide, but the frets are horrible. I also crowned and polished the frets myself, and there was no fixing this guitar. Too many wonky frets, and by the time I got them all level, they were all too low to be usable. So basically from fret 12 upwards, the fretboard's useless. I've got fret buzz, dead notes. So yeah, granted that probably is lack of experience in my hand, but yeah, that is one bad thing. The second bad thing is the truss rod adjuster. It has been shipped with, I don't know if the nut that is in there is brass or something that is easily manipulated, because when I tried to adjust the truss rod, the metal just gave way. It totally chewed up the insert point for the Allen key, totally chewed it up. So now my truss rod is non-adjustable. Biggest issue with this guitar has been the neck. If you're going to go out there and buy a DIY guitar, I highly advise you to investigate the neck when it arrives, check if it's something that's playable. So that's really it for the guitar. In terms of the engraving, I just used my Dremel tool, dremeled in those engravings. So yeah, I think that's really it for the talking part. So let's kind of see how it sounds. So I'm going straight from the Telecaster into my Vox amp. The Vox amp has been picked up by an SM57 slightly off axis, and the 57 is being captured by my M-Audio 2x2M interface, which has just run straight into Pro Tools. On the Vox amp, I have only boosted the master volume up to near max. I've put on a very slight tone cut and some very light reverb. So it's not completely dry, but it's essentially almost dry. Volume knob is turned all the way up in the Telecaster, and the tone knob is almost all the way up. It's probably at 9. At the moment, this is neck pickup. This is the bridge pickup. So back to neck. Both together. And bridge. Here again we have the neck. Here we have both together. And here we have the bridge. A few bum notes there, I do apologise, hey ho. So yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. The neck could be doing with a lot of work, so I'll show you really quickly what I mean by the higher frets. So this is at fret 15. There's a lot of fret buzz and I'm sure there's some dead notes somewhere. Yep, fret 16, bead. So yeah, I guess really I haven't done solo-y stuff, so really quickly, this is the neck. The bridge. Sorry, both together. And the bridge finally. Anyway, so all in all, I think it's not too bad of a guitar, to be honest. It's got its issues, definitely. It's alright. Again, if you're going to do a DIY, do not do what I done and go out there and buy the best of the best. It's just not worth it until you get a bit more experience on how to make a good guitar. So yeah, my main gripe is the neck, but yeah, I can look into replacing that in the future, see what happens. So yeah, thanks for watching, and sorry it's took so long for this to come out. Again, the guitar has been built for months. It's just other things have been going on. So yeah, take it easy. I'll catch you later.